There once lived an old man in the middle of the woods. He had no neighbors, and only the squirrels and the birds and the other forest creatures were all the company that he had. One day this lonely old man set out on a journey. He had decided that he was going to walk in a straight line, and whatever he came to, he was going to incorporate into his repertoire of memories and life experiences. As he walked and walked and walked on the pathway that he had walked over many long years, he soon became aware that he was entering new territory that he had never seen before. Up ahead he saw a little community of houses, and one house stood out to him in particular. It was green and yellow, with black shutters, a tall red chimney, and a beautiful garden of roses in bloom around the front walk and doorway. For some strange reason, his memories were stirred that this was familiar to him. He did not understand why he had this strange familiar feeling, and so he decided that he would walk up to the door and see who lived there. As he knocked on the door and it was opened up by the occupant, very, very slowly, he could see past the person to what was beyond in the room just in sight. The pictures on the wall and the furnishings slowly began to penetrate his memories. He began to remember the past and had seen little children around a fireplace, a mother and a father sitting at the dinner table talking and laughing, and he could not understand what it was all about. The person that answered the door said to him, "Hello, may I help you?" And he said, "Yes, I believe I remember something about this house. Could you inform me of any of the history of this place?" The young person said, "Yes, I could. I have been living here several years with my parents, and they inherited this home from their parents." The old man said, "Did your family ever have any unusual experiences that you've heard of?" The young man said, "Why, yes. We had a great-uncle who disappeared as a little boy. No one has heard of his whereabouts. He has been missing for many, many years. It has been a terrible grief for my great-grandmother and great-grandfather." The old man exclaimed, "Oh, how sad! What was the little boy's name, and do you have any pictures of him?" The young man said, "Yes, we do. Please come in, and I will show you our family pictures on the mantelpiece." The old man went into the now familiar house and walked toward the fireplace. As he looked at the pictures, a strange, bittersweet smile came upon his face, for there was the missing family that he had longed for many decades of his life. There was his mother, his father, his sisters and his brothers, and many other faces that he had never seen. The joy of the family finding their lost boy will never end, and how God preserved his life.